saw the headline, Booze, Naked Models and the Secrets of Branson's Island. And then I looked at the picture and I thought, that's a crummy sculpture of Richard Branson. In quite a lot of public toilets, you find signs saying, please leave these toilets as you would expect to find them. I was brought up in 1980s Basildon, followed by 1980s and early 90s Haverhill. The downside of this is I have very low expectations as to how I expect to find public toilets. And when I see signs like this, I occasionally feel I ought to mess them up before I leave. You do get those moments where you wonder what's going on. For instance, just now, two big cars pulled up, 4x4s, obviously from the building site up there, covered in the sort of clay you get up in these things. Big bits of heavy building equipment in the back, generator, gas tanks, all that kind of stuff, covered in mud. People inside, I mean, as well as the cars. And they pull up next to each other, and then they hand something over from one to the other. And you think, oh, some building equipment is forgotten. And then you see what he's handing over. Two perfectly clean soup ladles. There's a general thing in this country, or there used to be, where if you're crap at one thing, you do something else. It's a simple principle. If you're crap at maths, there are other things you can excel at. If you're crap at geography, doesn't matter, do something else. If you're crap at history, go and do another thing. If you're rubbish at biology, become a physicist. It doesn't matter. Rubbish at art, do something that doesn't involve art. From today on, that's changed, because there is one thing in this country that you are no longer to be crap at. And if you're crap at that, you've got no hope ever again in England. Because from today, if you're crap at spelling, you won't be able to pass any exams. Today they have made it so that 12%, and this is going to roll it, 12% of any subject, they're going to roll it out across the subjects, starting with history. 12% of the marks on any subject will be dictated by your spelling and your grammar. I can't spell for toffees. I even defeat spell checkers. That's just how I happen to be. It's the one thing I'm rubbish at. I'm great at maths. I'm rather good at history. In fact, I'm quite a decent artist. I understand physics better than most people. I've even got a reasonable grasp of biology. I've got quite a lot of understanding in a lot of subjects higher than the average. But I can't spell, so apparently I'm worthless. Now, I'm not saying that in certain subjects spelling isn't important. English, for instance. If you're doing English and you can't spell, expect to score low. If you're doing English and you can't get your grammar right, expect to score low. And in some subjects you do have to be at least reasonably intelligible. But does this mean classic grammar? No, as long as you are intelligible. If I am trying to get a subject across, I like to use beautiful language where I can, and if I have to split infinitives to do that, I damn well shall. But you can't in exams now because you'll get punished for it. Beauty is a thing of the past. You must now be exact. If you can't spell, you're screwed, because you'll no longer be able to score well in maths, history, or anything else. History, okay, I understand if there's a particular historical term that they want you to be able to spell that correctly. Fair enough. But other words that aren't historical terms, that's for another subject. Leave it be. Been working on a new t-shirt design based on a butterfly stencil I came up with. We've put the t-shirts on board so I can do several at a time and then leave them to one side to dry whilst I do the others. As you can see, I've started with the white as a base coat. One of the butterflies will stay white, but because I'm using luminous paints later, I need the white underneath to make them show up. So there's all those t-shirts drying, and there's our house guest Rai Rai, who's not got up at this point. As you can see, we've moved on to a bit later. I've already put on the pink on the butterfly, the white allowing it to show up. That's UV reactive, so it also shows up onto UV. If we move around to some more t-shirts, you can see I've also started putting yellow butterflies in there as well. And I'll show you the finished result of all of these later when I've got them up on the website, hopefully. And as you can see, Rai is still asleep. Well, what with pummeling rain and the appearance that I am going down with flu, we're talking muscle cramp in my legs and a headache and a sore throat, I think basically I'm not going to be doing gardening today. I actually get a proper day off. So I'm going to use it to sit here with a large box of vitamin C and knock the stuffing out of the flu if I at all can. And if this doesn't fit C out the flu out of me, I've still got a packet of Tango bonbons. And it's so very hard to look at a camera when you can see yourself moving down here. It was then I remembered I had to take Rai back to Ely Station, so no day off for me. On the way back through Newmarket, however, we came across some very strange horses. A children's nutrition charity has done a lot of research into children's drinks and come up with the following shock news that Vimto has 5% fruit in it and Fruit Shoot Hydro has no fruit in it whatsoever. This is shocking news. I didn't actually realise Vimto had any fruit in it. Did anyone think it did? And Fruit Shoot Hydro, yeah, if you're going to call it Fruit Shoot, you probably should put some fruit in it. Just you know, just a little. I've worked it out. Eating vast amounts of chocolate will stop you dying of cancer. It's very simple. It's statistics. It works very easily. Yeah? If you eat vast amounts of chocolate, it makes you overweight, which raises your chance of getting a heart attack. But if you're going to die of a heart attack, that means there's less chance of you dying of cancer. Therefore, eating vast amounts of chocolate will lower your chances of dying of cancer. It's an anti-carcinogenic. Stick that in your pipe, Daily Mail. Okay, I don't know how true this is yet. It's just a headline on the front page of a newspaper. Even if being the East Anglian, it's a relatively regional newspaper. And even they're saying it's only a suggestion at the current time. But it is a suggestion from the Transport Minister and one that he's looking at. Thing is, if this happens, it's an absolute killer thing for East Anglia. There is only one motorway that goes through East Anglia at the moment. That's the M11, and that is far, far to the west of the area. For anyone else to get to it, you've got to use the A14. And if you're heading north or to the west coast of Britain, you have to use the A14. If you're trying to get to the east of East Anglia, to the East Anglian ports, which are currently popular ports to use, you have to use the A14. If you slap money on that, you're going to make setting up a business, especially a manufacturing business, in East Anglia very unattractive, prohibitively unattractive. And Suffolk, Cambridgeshire, Norfolk at the moment have a lot of problem attracting business in the first place because we're out on that limb. If you make it expensive to get into us, as well as a distance, and it's already expensive because we're already paying petrol, then you're just kicking us in the teeth. We've needed a decent A14 for years, and no one's bothered. And now they're just going to try and charge us for it.